I think I know to I know.
Exactly.
You don't have to think. I know what is there in my contract. The speed of the wind should be around 119 kilometer per hour. Then it is recorded as a cyclone. So I will say that if the storm hasn't hit you yet, doesn't mean that there are no cliffs around.
Exactly.
I think अगर वो स्वाद चखा ही नहीं है क्लेम का, तो पॉलिसी का लिटमस टेस्ट हुआ ही नहीं है.
Welcome to the series of podcasts titled InsureTalk. In this series of podcasts, we aim to unpack a lot of jargons which are prevalent with insurance and try to relive and create real life stories so that the myths which are there in the minds of people are uncovered. From the dynamic world of new insurances to age-old covers which refuse to retire, from the world of life insurances which protects the family to the world of global coverages which protects the ambition, we have it all covered here. In this series of podcasts, we have made an attempt to unravel a lot of mysteries pertaining to insurance by bringing in real life case studies, real life stories, so that all of us come out better learned, better protected in times to come. Today's podcast is titled Illusion of Insurance. In this particular podcast, the endeavor is to resolve a lot of illusions which are associated with the word insurance, and it also tries to uncover a lot of myths which are associated with the world insurance. To take us through the journey today, we have the first guest in the series, Miss Rupali Mishra. Rupali is the Executive Director in Beacon Insurance Brokers. She has a lot of laurels to her credit, including being one of the best performers in the organization. She has won a lot of awards and has achieved the customer satisfaction at the highest level. Welcome, Rupali. It's a pleasure having you here.
Thank you very much for having me here today for this conversation. I'm really excited to be a part of this discussion, and I'm sure that I'm going to share some of the insights, my personal experience through this journey of insurance, and I'm sure that I'll be able to add something to the customers as well.
So, Rupali, today I have a lot of questions for you, and they all have been packed in this set of cards. Okay, I'll open them one by one, and then accordingly I would request you to give your thoughts and ideas. So the first question which I have on my card today: how much of this illusion is due to lack of awareness versus complexity of the policies?
Very nice question. I'll say that these are like two phases of a coin. The primary cause of this illusion, I'll say it is 100% lack of awareness, clubbed by financial illiteracy. The indifferent attitude of the business owners that nothing is going to go wrong to me gives them a wrong sense of, or a false sense of security, and at times overconfidence also. So people still consider insurance as a tick box. It is just a compliance tool for them. You will be surprised to know that till now I get sometimes call from owners saying that, can you get me a Public Liability Act policy quickly, because my factory inspector is asking for it. And there are those set of people who are handling hazardous substances in the premises, storing LPG bullet, but they are not concerned about the liability arising out of it. They want a policy because somebody else is asking it. So merely following the compliances is the basic intent to have an insurance, and that's very sad to know. But at the same time, I would not like to blame them 100%, because customer is still in the stage where he's confused. complex insurance language, the policy contract is such that they feel lost in the ocean. You talk about the fine prints of the clauses, the ambiguous exclusions, and we all know that today we are living in a world of fashion where you have to give 90, 95 add-ons to your client without knowing the actual sense of having those add-ons. So I think these things makes the whole program difficult to understand. To decode the insurance contract is becoming very difficult day by day. Though we are in this industry and every now and then the wordings are changing, the contractual conditions are changing, and we still read it. So we can't blame customer fully for this. And I think we as a broker fraternity or maybe insurance company as an organization must do something to educate our customers that they know what are they into, what policy they have, and how they are going to covered when there is an unfortunate event. So I think both complexity and financial illiteracy is contributing to ignorance, illusion of coverages, and maybe not having a right product based on the occupancy, I must say.
Very well said. I think it's a combination of both the things. I think that is a key word. The awareness is also lacking, and the policies are also complex.
Right.
Well said. Moving on to the second question. In your experience, what are the 3 most common assumptions people make about their insurance policies?
This question, I have a quick answer for it, which I every day hear from clients. मेरा policy में claim नहीं आना.
नहीं आने वाला.
I'm not going to get any claim in my policy. 1, 2, my agent has given me the best buy. I'm fully covered. So, equating a policy contract with 100% protection, they are at ease. We are not at ease, but they are at ease. That हमें कुछ नहीं होगा. I think that is one assumption which every day I come across. 2, the legal system in India is not that robust. No one gets sued in India. I need to have a liability policy only when I have an exposure in USA, Canada, or I am an exporter. Otherwise, why are you even asking for me to buy a CGL policy in India? So I think they do not know the other side, that our judiciary system is now so active. They are providing huge compensation to the aggrieved family. So just ignoring that aspect, that nothing is going to happen in India as far as legality is concerned, it's still an assumption they are carrying. 3rd can be, sadly, that insurance claims are not paid. So my policy is anyways not going to give me a claim. My claim won't be paid. Why should I even have a policy, and why should I even think about reading the coverages and the fine prints? That is one assumption. And I will not blame the customer fully for this. And the whole purpose, the whole essence of having a policy is diluted. So I think that is an assumption, but it is also a fear. I will rate it as assumption and fear both at a time. And buying the cheapest policy, that's a trend, we all face. I have an L1 quote, so my policy is the best. That is a buying behavior of the customer. कि मैंने cheapest policy ली है, and I'm assuming everything is covered. I think that is also one of the assumption which I feel that customers are carrying.
Absolutely. And I think L1, the biggest interest about insurance is that it doesn't get paid today. So when you buy the product, that time it doesn't get paid. So looking at L1 looks good, but actually it is going to pay. That assumption defeats the purpose of insurance at times. Very well said.
This is a very ironical thing that I have a policy. That cyber and crime is the need of the hour. Every broker is going and projecting that, you must have, you have a cyber threat, you must have a cyber policy in place. You must go for a crime policy, and people do take it, but they really don't know how to claim. When there is a claim, when there is an incident, they feel ki, this has happened 2 years back. If I'm going to claim, is my policy going to behave? Is my policy going to trigger and pay me this claim? They do not know what a retroactive date concept is. They really do not know whether their crime policy is claims made or it is discovery based. It is insurance jargons. When we are lost in this ocean, how can we expect a customer to know when to claim, how to claim? And there comes the role of an advisor. I will not say broker, an advocate, who can help the client navigate the whole process smoothly and make them understand that we are there for you when there is any unfortunate event.
Well said. So, moving on to the question number 3. Why do most people, even experienced business owners, think they are well covered? I think this is from the second question.
I think it is just an extension of what we discussed.
So, when you meet owners today, do you see more of confusion or overconfidence?
Should I be very honest in
Please
answering
do.
this?
Please.
So, majority of the public is overconfident. Sorry, I mean, people will be watching this podcast, but you meet an owner, whether it is an SME, whether it is a corporate client, they say, ki, our insurance program is the best. We have some very good brokers in the system. We have consultants. And what are you going to provide me? My policy is foolproof. Why? Because I think they consider the policy as a shield. And unfortunately, they feel that that shield is unbreakable. Nothing is going to go wrong with the policy they have. But इसमें एक छोटा सा कैच ये है कि ये जो शील्ड है ये अनब्रेकेबल नहीं है. I mean, there are so many cracks in the form of fine prints in the policy which will create problems in the event of claim. And who's going to highlight that? Who's going to show the mirror? I think there comes the role of an insurance consultant or a risk consultant or a broker or an advocate who can go and tell ki, very good, you have everything. Why can't we have a second opinion? Why can't we just cross-check? And I think this confidence is coming not on its own. It is coming from the external factors. People like us, when we sell the product, we say that, everything is there in your policy and just you stay calm.
Yep.
You can be at peace. And then comes that complacency that my broker has given me everything. I don't need a review and let me be at ease. I think that complacency at times costs more than the premiums. So it's very important to rely. They must rely on the intermediary, but they must know the kind of exposures they are carrying, because ultimately it is their business.
Yep.
So they can't just rely blindly and sit at ease and review the structure maybe after 14 months or maybe when there is a claim. So there is an overconfidence. But I will say that when I discuss and when I dig a little deeper, I feel they still don't know what is what, and they're ready to accept after a conversation of like 40 minutes, fine, take my policy, just have a look, let me know what can be done. And then they are little, on the different zone. So it starts from overconfidence, but again, it ends to that unawareness,
discovery of that
I am not aware,
or I may say fully aware.
So I think that there's a very good line I read somewhere as an advocate. I always say that insurance, I don't say broker because we are advocates. So as an advocate, it is important to navigate your customer from I think I know to I know.
Exactly.
You don't have to think. I know what is there in my contract. So if there is still that thinking process or may not be, event of claim is going to be difficult for them to digest. That is not covered in my policy.
Yeah, I think very well said. When you say I think I know to I know, it's a very well said thing. And if we are able to unpack this journey of knowledge enhancement in the customers, I think that could be one of the biggest service which we can give. Thank you. Moving on, what kind of losses make people realize that they weren't truly covered? Now, this is straight away hitting where the problem is.
Yes. So the shock which comes to any of the business owner or a CFO, the basic intent and the peril which is there in the policy, that peril is itself not covered. Now, this sounds very weird, but I'll share an example. So, sometimes we feel that we have a fire policy, all the perils are covered. So anything happening in that peril will be well taken care. But that's not the case. You talk about a credit insurance policy. When you sell that policy, immediately after 2-3 months, you'll get a call and say, ki, my buyer is not accepting the goods and he's not ready to pay because there is some quality issue in the product. I want to intimate the claim. And you know what? quality issue is a exclusion in credit
in the
policy.
credit policy.
So जब मैं ये पॉलिसी एज अ बायर ले रही हूँ, मैं ये अज्यूम कर ले रही हूँ कि मेरे ये सारे क्वालिटी डिस्प्यूट्स वाले क्लेम आते ही रहते हैं, इट्स गोइंग टू बी कवर्ड, एंड आई डू नॉट नो, इट कम्स एज अ शॉकर. Now, very interesting. You know product liability policy, or maybe a commercial general liability policy where product liability is a section. आज तक भी it's a misnomer when people say मेरा liability का claim आया है, मेरा product का loss इतना है, and the product loss of product is a basic exclusion in your product liability, क्योंकि नाम ऐसा है ना product liability, so it seems like liability तो cover हो ही रही है, मेरे product भी covered है. But unfortunately, we have to tell boss, we will take care of your all the liabilities, all the legal cost, freight charges, bringing back your product, incinerating the product. But unfortunately, we won't be able to pay you for your product. And they were like, then what is the meaning of this policy?
This policy.
Why do you sell such policies? So people are still in that dark zone. Product liability equivalent to product is also covered. Talk about corona pandemic. Everybody was asking, हमारा claim, business interruption का claim मिलना चाहिए, because factory shut रही है because of corona. Pandemic was an exclusion. War, recent war, every day I got calls saying IR policy में war तो cover होगा ही ना. So these all confusions are there, and these are the basic perils which we feel must be covered in the policy, but they get a shocker when they come to know that my policy is not going to behave when I have 1, 2, 3, 4 claims, because it is a pure exclusion in the policy.
Exactly.
So I think these examples, I feel very sad for the owners when I have to tell them कि boss ये नहीं मिलेगा, this is not covered. Then ultimately the question goes, insurance policy never pays for claim. That's the unfortunate part.
Absolutely. And I think that is also a sad scenario wherein the client is not able to get the claim despite paying the premium.
Yes.
By virtue of things not being clear to him, or by virtue of ignorance which existed overall amongst the insurance fraternity and the client.
That's true.
Very well said. Okay, so moving on to a very interesting aspect. So the question says, could you share a real life story wherein a claim was denied due to misunderstanding of the coverage?
Yeah, so I think I remember a claim and a client very close to my heart, because that client, I got that on board. So it's almost 20 years. So I think 19 years back. So that there was a claim a decade ago. He was having a fire policy, and there was a cyclone, in Gujarat. It's a Gujarat-based client, and strong winds were there, and then the rooftop got damaged, and something got entered in the premises, and there was a damage. It was a claim of around 80 lakh or a crore, to be specific. And I was also thinking that this is a cyclone claim, it will be paid. There is an add-on in the policy, STFI is covered, everything is, and the claim was intimated. So I'm being very transparent in sharing this. This claim was not paid. So I'll tell you why. So when the whole thing was done, surveyor visited the premises, the documents were submitted, and we were in the process of finding out what will be the paid amount, what is the excess in the policy, and we were not even thinking that this claim can be rejected. Then came a bomb of fire tariff stating that for a cyclone to qualify, by this meteorological department, the speed of the wind should be around 119 kilometers per hour. Then it is recorded as a cyclone. So we, being brokers and advocate, were not knowing this, because we know that there was a cyclone. It was there in the local newspaper, but because it was not recorded at the meteorological department, and it was called, Gujarati mein bolte hain, Vavajoda, yes. And it was a localized cyclone which was restricted to that area, maybe in few kilometers, and that claim was not paid. Then we had to go to consumer forum to fight for that claim. That's so unfortunate that the basic peril is not covered, because we have to read that long tariff, that what is the qualifying speed of a wind to be a cyclone,
qualifying criteria to be named it as a cyclone.
Then there comes an excuse कि अगर हमने industrial all risk policy ले ली होती, तो वहाँ पे ये speed justified नहीं. Just imagine we as technical people, like advisors, still struggle to study, are we going to blame the customer and the consumers for these problematic situations in the event of claim? So I will say that I really feel sad and sorry for the customers. A, because we are not educating them. B, we are not putting any efforts in making them aware. It is still a selling process going on till today. So I think that shift is very important to make them aware that such situations are not there.
Not there.
Yeah.
And I think this also takes us back to the first question when we were talking that insurance clients start feeling that even if there is a claim,
Yes.
insurance policies don't pay.
Yes.
And also it takes us to that complexity part of the insurance
Yes.
policy, wherein we say that the legal languages attached to insurance policies actually make it difficult for claims to be
Absolutely.
paid.
Absolutely.
And there the role of the advisor becomes even more important
Yes.
to keep the process, the journey of being I think I know to I know.
I know.
I wanted to be a little bit more specific. Can you pick up one policy where most people are fooled by what's covered and what is not, and why?
So I will not say that people are fooled. I'll say that policy is fooling each one of us. You know, right from you to me to everybody. And I can say it's a Mediclaim policy. Everybody is owning a Mediclaim policy. But see the struggle. The moment you got admitted, you'll realize that I have a 5 lakh cover, everything will be paid. And then the nightmare starts once you are discharged, or maybe the cashless is not approved, or maybe you're putting it up for reimbursement. Your deduction starts, and there the story starts. You know, you will not be paid because you stayed in a room rent which was higher than the limit. Fine, I will feel that मुझे room का किराया उतना नहीं मिलेगा, कट जाएगा. You get a proportionate deduction in the entire claim, which people were not knowing maybe 2 years back. Now they are still knowing this. You will not get a cover which is known as reasonable and customary. So if you go for a cataract surgery and pay a 1 lakh, insurance company feels that you can get that cataract surgery done for a 50,000. They'll just pay you 50, saying that it is not reasonable you to pay more. Again, a nightmare. You know, there are so many clauses of network, non-network hospital. In an emergency situation, as a patient, I will rush to a hospital. I won't check whether it is in network or not. And by chance, if I'm admitted in some hospital which is not in network, there'll be a reduction of 10%, 15%. The list is on. So I think Mediclaim policy, people do not sleep at ease. They know that there'll be deduction. You know, so these clauses comes into picture because we as a broker know. So we highlight it to the client that you have to stay in a room. This is your room rent. You cannot exceed. The moment you do it, your every claim
all
amount,
expenses
will be deducted accordingly. Please go for a cataract surgery of up to this because there might be reduction, or else you get this deleted from your insurance policy. That is also one school of thought. 2 is, I know what is my limit, right? So I as a customer shouldn't misuse it. I mean, why insurance company is putting scissors? Now we can't be bad and only speaking bad about insurers. They know that this policy is being misused at a larger level. There have been frauds.
Many a times even hospitals misuse the policy.
Yes. So I think to tighten the screw, they have so many fine prints that the policy should be solving the purpose. People shouldn't make money out of it. So it is both ways. The customer should be aware. Insurance company should also not just put scissors. I was surprised to know there was a surgery. Somebody met with an accident and there was a surgery where rods were being inserted and all that. That was an OT charge. And then when the claim was paid, some deductions were made for the apparatus. So some sort of machine which was used, and it was not paid. And I asked my team that, you know, there's a deduction. What for this is being deducted? It's a very fresh case. He said, ma'am, ye na apparatus ka cost nahi milega. You know? So I said, kyun nahi milega? It is a part of surgery. He said, no, package mein kya hai ki wo cost hai. It's a package given by hospital. अब अगर वो पैकेज के ऊपर एक apparatus का charge कर रहा है, which is maybe a rented apparatus or whatsoever, insurance company won't pay for it. Now, poor customer who is undergoing a surgery, there's a claim of 15 odd lakhs, and that apparatus, if it is costing even 50,000, will he be aware कि ये 50,000 मुझे नहीं मिलने वाला है? तो मैं during that operation, am I going to tell to my doctor that ये apparatus use मत करो, 50,000 नहीं मिलेगा? See the irony. So a basic insurance mediclaim coverage is having so many nuances, and you can't be at peace. Till today, I struggle if there's my own claim. Before getting that done, I have to make sure the checklist that how my policy is going to behave. So I think that policy is a big nightmare for me also till today.
Yeah, in fact, that's why you have a lot of consumer forum cases, lot
Yes,
of ombudsman cases.
Yes.
And you very well said, it is the failure on part of each stakeholder that today we are in a situation of customer disservice. So the clients at times, the hospital authorities with due respect, and insurers. So overall, this change has to come so
Right.
that the client feels assured that yes, whatever I have bought, it would give me coverage. And also he needs to be aware about the fact that the policy should not be misused.
Yes.
Very well said. Now this is a very interesting question which I'm going to ask you. Why is the word all risk so often misunderstood?
ऑल रिस्क से तो हमें भी ये फीलर आएगा
कि सभी को
all
मिलेगा।
risk का अगर if you just all risk, so I still don't blame those people. हम ही जाके sell करते हैं, don't buy a fire policy, please go for an all risk
policy.
But there is a fine print. You have to pitch it like that this is an all risk cover or maybe an all risk policy subject to specified exclusions. So we as an intermediary should go and discuss only exclusions cited in the policy. I think that's the right way of selling. All risk policies
Instead of
all
telling all risk.
Absolutely. And I think we have changed the pitch in so many years that we do not go and sell a policy and say that, you go for an industrial all risk policy, everything will be covered. Instead, we say that this is a package policy, but let us talk about those exclusions mentioned in each section, be it material damage, be it business interruption. And they must know that what is not covered. Bad workmanship is not covered. Defect, manufacturing defect, it's not covered. Or what is not covered in business interruption. And that's a very healthy conversation. And client appreciates because they know that I have taken an all risk policy. XYZ is covered, but 1, 2, 3, 4 is not covered. So they will never be in this illusion or assumption world that I have an all risk policy. So I can say it with all pride that as a person, as an advocate, we are telling them, educating them, and highlighting the exclusions. I think that's the right way of selling, rather than saying that आपके पास एक all risk policy है, sir, everything बद्दू covered.
बद्दू मर से.
हाँ, बद्दू मर से. I think that is not the right way of approaching the client.
Absolutely. I think that is a service. So if the education process, as we discussed during our conversation till now, is right, this journey from I think I know to I know becomes much smoother.
Yes, absolutely.
Very well said.
Yeah.
So the learning out of this question is that in an all risk, the focus of the intermediary should be on the exclusions, not on the coverage.
Yes.
And also the owners should focus more on exclusions than on coverage, because coverage is there, but there are also exclusions.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well said. Okay, so Rupali, now we will further delve into the complexity of the policy, and that's how we have been doing till now. So we will talk about a specific thing. So the question says, what are the lesser known clauses in the policy that reduce the claim amount, and how do they impact you?
So I'll not say lesser known because I think people know it. But again, it's an illusion world. So they know it, but it gets highlighted when there is a claim. So one fact in any property business can be an underinsurance. When a client is putting up the claim, he's not aware that his claim is going to get reduced if the sum insured which he has covered for his assets or for the stock is not as per the today's thing. Then the surveyor is going to cut that underinsurance from the claim amount. The claim gets reduced. Let's say if there is an underinsurance of 10%, the 10% gets reduced from the claim, and that he'll come to know only after the assessment is released by the insurance company. There is a concept of franchisee, similar to underinsurance, but insurance company put these clauses and client is not aware.
Hmm.
He will get aware only when there is a claim.
Deduction. Yeah.
Then I talked about network, non-network hospitals in Mediclaim policy. I talked about reasonable and customary clauses. Then in property premium, there is a factor called depreciation, you know. So depreciation also reduces the claim to a great extent. I'll just quote an example. There was a claim of stock. And for any stock, you know that if the finished good is not produced and there is a fire, you have to reverse the GST because you're not going to get the credit, you know. And client feels कि मेरे stock में वो GST का भी loss मुझे मिलेगा if there is a claim, but वो तब मिलेगा जब आपने वो GST को include किया है, आपने अपने valuation में उसका impact consider किया है. Otherwise, the loss is in the tune of 2, 3, 4 crores if it is a big stock claim. That again comes as a shocker because he is not aware that he has covered that GST. And he is asking for that amount in the event of claim. That silently reduces the claim.
Yes.
So there are so many fine prints which just reduce the claim, and client will come to know when the assessment is out.
One very interesting thing which I observed in one of the claims was something what is called slow moving, non-moving stocks.
In stocks, yes.
Yeah, so if the stock is stored for more than 6 months or 1 year,
yes,
that 10-15% would reduce.
Absolutely.
Which the client would never even imagine.
No,
कि भैया
no
मेरा
way.
तो stock का value है,
yes,
आपने कैसे 10% काट दिया?
Yes.
But वो
So
भी
that
एक
is also a
one
concept.
of the
To talk
concept.
about business interruption policy. Earlier, there was a concept of indemnity up to 12 months indemnity period. By default, you get in the policy. There was a time when you had to choose for it. 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, and there was a premium. Okay, client is not knowing this. What is his indemnity? उसको पता है कि BI will trigger if his plant is shut down for XYZ number of months. And then there was a claim and he was in an impression, मेरे पास तो बंद का policy है. He used to say कि बंद का policy. मेरा plant बंद होगा तो मुझे मिलेगा.
पैसा मिलेगा.
And that was the whole concept. And the plant was shut down for more than, I think, 9-10 months. And he has an indemnity of only 3 months.
3 months.
That speaks कि आप 3 महीने तक का ही आपको cover मिल रहा है. But वो इस impression में था कि, you know, if I start after 9-10 months, I'll be paid, and that was deducted, and that was a huge deduction. Again, I'll say that's a silent deduction. Policy 3 months indemnity, he never bothered to understand that terminology, but that paid him heavily in the event of claim.
It is also triggering from the fact of L1.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
yes.
Because 3 months policy would definitely be cheaper than a 9-month indemnity policy.
And that were the times when BI used to be a little out of touch,
the course,
and people used to feel कि यार मैं लूँ या नहीं लूँ ये policy, and that was a premium associated with the.
So that and that way I think the regulator did a good thing to making it 12 months so that this missell is not there. कि भैया 3 महीना का ले लो, 6 महीने का ले लो. आपने किसी ने 12 months कोड किया, आपने 3 months कोड किया, उसका L1 हो गया, उसको चेक दिया.
Yes, that's true.
Good. So this also talks about an interesting concept. The question says, how important is the sum insured and how is it often wrongly calculated?
These are so interesting questions because this is everyday thing which we are doing. You know, till today, there is a set of customer where we have to explain why a sum insured is the most critical part of the whole insurance program. You know, you appoint brokers, you please distribute mandates, you do whatever you want to do. But have you taken the right sum insured is the question which still is unanswered, because how they are doing it. Year on year, there is a thumb rule, 10% से inflation जोड़ लिया, just increase it. मेरा stock X था, अब Y हो गया, put it and go ahead. You know, nobody is bothered what the FAR, the fixed asset register, is speaking. जो designate किया हुआ है, क्या वो policy में भी वैसे ही designated है? Have you taken care of the GST component which I talked just now? Have you removed the pre-operative expenses from your valuation? There are people who are still covering land. You know, you go and see the building, the land part is still covered. Who's going to pay you for land? You know, stocks, as you rightly said, what are the duties? What are the taxes? Are you taking care of that while you are doing the valuation? We always throw a question that आपको ये तो पता है कि आज आप factory बनाने जाएंगे. What is the cost of today's? You know, today you are making it again. What is the cost? Please apply that rates. Figure out what is the cost. If you do not want to take it, fine. But at least be aware. Otherwise, there will be an underinsurance, what we discussed. Also, there is a smart answer which I get from client. मेरे में RIV clause लगा हुआ है. A reinstatement value clause is inserted. and I'll be paid. When there is a claim, I'll be paid today's replacement cost. And when I question them silently, is your sum insured also aligned with that? I mean, sum insured bhi aaj ke hisab se liya hua hai. Is it really important? That's what they answer. Because they feel that वो clause लगा देने से
मेरा काम हो गया.
मेरा काम हो गया. But clause has to be linked with the valuation which you have derived. Be it applying a CPWD index in your building valuation part, be it applying RBI indices, you know, taking care of imported, domestic, inflation, fluctuations. I mean, that's a whole subject. Valuation is a whole subject. Other than insurance, I'll say post-mortem करने से पहले अगर हम ये pre-mortem exercise कर ले, I think we can be at ease, both broker and client, because you'll be paid to the last point, which is, you know, minus excess, minus salvage in the property claim. You'll be paid everything if your valuation is well taken care, because valuation plays a very vital role when there is a claim.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely. And I think that is the key aspect, and I fully agree with you that in most of the insurance policies, valuation is one part, or maybe fixation of sum insured is one part, which is the most ignored part.
Yes.
And again, when we start focusing on L1, the complexities start taking a backseat. Very well explained. So this brings us to the next question, which says, if a business never had a claim, do they really need a deep policy review? If yes, how often a company should review or audit its insurance coverage?
So I will say that if the storm hasn't hit you yet, doesn't mean that there are no cliffs around.
Exactly.
I think अगर वो स्वाद चखा ही नहीं है claim का, तो policy का litmus test हुआ ही नहीं है. You know, though we should pray कि claim नहीं होना चाहिए, because but claim makes you more technically thorough in this process of getting a claim settled. We know what is there in the policy and how it is going to behave. Now come to the question that what is a review mechanism? If there is no claim, then the review is must, you know, and even if there is a claim, then also review is must. Why? Because just you look around, see the geopolitical situations around, DPDP Act coming in, compliance becoming stringent, role of NGT after so many explosions, you know, that is also coming up so deeply. And in that scenario, if you're just going by the traditional coverages of and having a feel that my policy is taking care of everything, fine, it might cover your present risk. What about the future opportunities? Are you well covered for the threats, cyber threats coming in, tariff war coming in? You know, so many uthal-puthal going on. You have to keep yourself updated, and that's why I think a review is required. I'll say not only a policy review, but also a review of the safety, you know, review of the compliances. Inside a factory, it's very important to review that how your safety standards are being maintained, because as I told, the compensations are heavy. I mean,
absolutely.
You know, when NGT is going to catch you, the escape is not that easy. So are we only going to finalize and find out the nuances of the policies and review it from the perspective of getting an audit done? Or are we going to understand what are the risk exposures, you know, what are the changes coming up in the market, not only insurance market, but every market we have to analyze, and what are the safety features we have, and based on that we need to review our insurance policy. So I say it is more of a sync with the risk exposure, current exposure, future prospects, situations around in the market, which is very volatile. So yes, review is important, but for a safer side, I think it's an annual policy. So at least once in a year, it becomes very critical to analyze what are the risk exposures you have. And, you know, in between, there are so many changes going on. Just for an example, I'll say there's a chemical company. They are into manufacturing. They make some intermediary. And they were being rated in X category as per occupancy wise. And then there was no inspection and there was no review. It was just some insured valuation and all. And by chance, when we asked them that why can't we just inspect the premises and just have a look, they said so many insurance companies have just done the inspection. I'll share the report with you. Why you really want to do it? And I said, let us just do, because my engineers want to do it, and then we'll try to give you a loss prevention report and all that. We went from that perspective. When we were there, we realized that that client has started manufacturing a product B. So product A is different, the rating is different, and the product B which the client is making is different, the rating is different. So the whole insurance rating gets changed when you start manufacturing a product B and the policy is running with the same rate. So how you will analyze that review is important or not important, even from that perspective, had there been a claim, survey would have questioned that you have started making a product B and your rating is not up to the mark. When we talk to clients, they say that it is a very minuscule quantity. It is just one of the product which we are making. How does it even make a difference? But it makes a difference in tariff. And it makes a difference when there is a claim. If there is a no claim, your policy is fine. You save that money. So from that perspective, I always say client that get your premises inspected every year. Let us review the existing policy. Understand what is new in the market, because market is changing. It is not stagnant like it used to be years ago. So yes, review is important. It can be a 6-monthly review or annual review, I think is must.
And also add to it with the example which you said, that if the client engages into a new product line, or is looking at some sort of an expansion, then the review becomes even more important, because that expansion could lead to a complication in the way the policy is structured.
That's
and
true.
Could also lead to new risks being on board.
Yes.
So very well said. So once in a year minimum, but as and when the client is looking at an expansion, the review should happen.
Yes, and also with the circulars coming in, like Public Liability Act recently, a year back, we got a circular that, it should be, some insured should be equivalent to the paid up capital. Now you are having a traditional policy, it's going on. How will you come to know when you just review it? When you review it, when you educate your client about the new circulars coming in, mandatory changes, and as per that you have to redesign, tweak, and maybe sometimes you have to cancel the policy and have a new one also in between. So there is no timeline for the review, for the circulars, for the changes. You have to keep on doing it as and when it is coming, yes. But for a structural review, it should be at least once in a year.
Fantastic. Good. I think that's very well unpacked, because it talks very clearly about the review mechanism. What 3 questions should every business owner ask their insurance brokers today?
So I think if I am a business owner, the first and very important question, which I just deliberated in last question also, is what are the risks am I not covered for?
Okay.
I'll be interested in knowing only those risks which I'm not covered for and which can disrupt the whole business process. I think there are black spots, there are blind spots which owners don't know, and that comes as a surprise in the event of claim. So I think this is the first question every business owners must ask the advocates and the intermediary. Second could be that also I just deliberated. How are you going to align my current insurance program with the existing risk exposures I have? So we have to really see the new things coming in, like ESG compliances, the supply chain disruptions, geopolitical situations, tariff war coming in. So many things are coming in. So I cannot sit at ease and say that you're taking care of my existing exposures. What if something comes in future? Am I prepared for that? So I, as a business owner, must ask my broker and test their competency, how well versed they are for the Indian risk vis-a-vis something coming from globally. So that check is very important for a business owner to assess and analyze the broker's capability. And third can be, I would be interested in knowing the claims they have handled, the claim competency, because that is, again, I do not know until and unless I experience it. So the team they have, the loss ratios, the kind of claims they have settled. And also I'll be interested in knowing the claims which got rejected. They couldn't pay as a broker, claims which are in litigation, or maybe claims of my known industry which was not paid. So I'll be more interested as a business owner to understand things which gets complicated and which I'm not covered for, and I'll try to prepare myself for that rainy day.
Perfect. I think that is very well said, because these three questions would actually make the business owner understand the capability matrix of the broker, and it would also help him take informed decisions in the selection process.
Yes, I think it looks a little hard that these questions are coming in, but I think if these questions are answered transparently and the broker is capable to handle this whole thing, it becomes very easy for the client to choose the right broker.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think transparency is the key.
Yes.
On the part of all the stakeholders in the entire value chain.
Yes, absolutely.
This question comes from the first question only. What would you say to a CEO who believes their setup is already well insured?
So I'll say them many congratulations. Now let us come to the job and let us test it. I say it, as I discuss that, I always say that it's wonderful that you have everything in place. You have a category broker, and you have never faced a claim. And if you have faced a claim, it was paid. So why not to do a exercise which we can say kind of a case study, to understand that in this perspective, the policy contract he is having, how a claim is going to behave, what is going to be paid, what is not going to be paid, what are the underlying areas which is still exposed to, and there is no solution available. I think I want to focus more on that these are the areas where currently there are no solutions. We might go to reinsurance to find something for you. Because I just remember there's a client who say that there's something called denial of access. But denial of access because of some accident is fine. You can get an add-on. You can very well cover it. Denial of access without any reason. That can be
whatsoever reason.
Whatsoever is the reason. Can I get a policy? As a broker, what should be my answer? No, sir. There's no such policy available in India. But I think that's not the answer. We need to understand that you go out, you just explore a little bit. Every damn thing is possible. Every product can be stitched. You just have to find a right market for it. You can elaborate on this subject because you are taking care of all international reinsurance requirements. You think anything and you just go to the market, you choose the correct market, you choose the correct reinsurer, you can stitch it for your client. So I think I will try to tickle the CEO or a business owner and talk about the risk, as I rightly said, which cannot be covered easily. Let us move to a zone of covering everything possible, because any which ways wo to cover ho hi jane hai. But there is a bigger risk waiting for you, and that can erode the business.
Absolutely.
Business continuity. So I think focus shift ki bahut zarurat hai. When we go and talk to people, we have to talk to them, making them understand that let us explore, let us evolve, let us have a product and a policy which is evolving the way insurance is evolving day by day.
The risk is evolving.
Risk is evolving. Why a policy contract is not evolving? Is that not a question to be asked? I'm taking an IAR, I'm taking it since ages. Why I'm not talking about a policy which is not available in India, but I want to cover my XYZ risk. I want to cover bad workmanship. I want to cover something which is an exclusion in my IR policy. Why I can't get it? So I think this is the area where every CEO should apply the brain and should ask the broker to work beyond the set mechanism of how insurance is operating in India and look beyond the borders. I think that will be my question for any business owner.
I think we went through this journey of question and answer, and we could think, unpack, learn a lot of interesting ideas, and I must compliment you for that. Your narration, your objective answering would really hit a chord with a lot of business owners, and that is the main purpose of having this discussion. At least it will ask questions.
Yes.
And it would also tickle the thinking process in to a lot of people. And if we are able to bring the people to come to a scenario wherein people question themselves, question the way things are being done, and look for solutions, I think we have achieved. So thanks a ton, Rupali. I think it was a fantastic journey for me also. And let's hope that whatever initiation we have started with this InsureTalk series actually reaches where it intends to reach. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me.
So this brings us to the end of our first episode titled Illusion of Coverages. Please remember, insurance is not a piece of paper. It is actually a piece of mind. So, as Rupali very well explained, if this piece of paper is well drafted, well designed, it would take us to the journey from a piece of paper to the peace of mind. We would like to request you to please listen to the podcast and try to get what is there in the content. We welcome you to give your thoughts, ideas, views, criticisms. And if you like what we said, please subscribe us on LinkedIn and share with your friends and families. Thanking you. We shall be continuously talking to you on various such episodes. And in each episode, we will try to unravel one of the mysteries, one of the myths pertaining to insurance.